Rain pounded against the dark city streets as headlights streaked past the empty road. A lone man stood in the shadows near a flickering streetlight, his eyes sharp, his jaw tight, and a scar cutting across his cheek. He looked like someone who'd seen too much of the world and trusted too little of it. His name was Ethan Cole, a single dad who'd once served in a special rescue unit. Now, he lived quietly, raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, and working as a night shift mechanic. But that night, the night he saved Amelia Hart, the powerful CEO everyone thought was untouchable, everything changed. What started as one act of courage would rewrite both their lives forever. Ethan had learned long ago that silence was safer than attention. He avoided trouble, avoided people, except for Lily. His world revolved around her laughter, her small hands clutching his, and her bedtime stories under the dim yellow light of their tiny apartment. Life was simple, even if it was hard. He fixed cars by day, repaired engines by night, and barely slept, but he was content as long as Lily smiled. One evening, he was on his way home when he saw a black SUV speed past, tires screeching, and a woman's muffled scream echoing faintly through the rain. His instincts, the kind he'd buried after leaving his old life behind, flared to life. He shouldn't get involved. He had a daughter waiting. He'd promised himself never to be the hero again. But something in that scream felt wrong. It wasn't just fear, it was desperation. He jumped onto his motorbike and followed. The SUV turned into an abandoned industrial zone near the river. Ethan parked quietly behind a pile of metal drums, heart pounding but focused. He slipped a small case from under his bike seat. Inside were tools of a life he'd sworn off: a tactical flashlight, a folding blade, and a micro-communicator. He hadn't used them in years. Inside the warehouse, 4 men were shouting. The woman, tied to a chair, struggled, her designer clothes torn, her lips bleeding. Ethan recognized her instantly. Amelia Hart, the CEO of Hart Dynamics, the tech company everyone admired. The news had called her iron-hearted, a woman who built an empire on discipline and control. But now she looked nothing like the person on magazine covers. She was terrified. Ethan slipped inside through a side entrance. He used his old training, silent movements, calculated timing. The kidnappers wanted money, revenge, something about a deal gone wrong. But Ethan didn't wait to find out. He timed their rotation, threw a bolt to distract them, then moved fast: 1 hit, 1 disarm, 1 takedown. 3 men fell before the last one realized what was happening. Ethan's blade flashed in the dim light, slicing through the rope around Amelia's wrists. "Can you run?" he whispered. She nodded, eyes wide with disbelief. "Who are you?" "Just someone who hates bullies," he muttered. They sprinted into the rain as gunfire erupted behind them. Ethan guided her through alleys, covering her when bullets cracked through the darkness. He used every ounce of skill he'd once buried, every lesson, every instinct. When they finally made it to safety, she was shaking, drenched, and staring at him like she couldn't understand what just happened. "Why did you help me?" she asked, breath trembling. Ethan hesitated. "Because no one else would." Days later, the story broke across the news: unknown man saves CEO from kidnapping. Amelia Hart had vanished from the public eye since the incident, while the police searched for the hero. Ethan tried to ignore it. He had Lily's school fees due, and a repair job waiting. He thought it was over. But fate wasn't finished with him. A sleek black car appeared outside his garage. Amelia stepped out, dressed in a gray suit, a faint smile softening her usual steely face. Lily peeked from behind a stack of tires, curious. Amelia bent down and smiled at her. "You must be Lily," she said gently. Lily grinned. "Daddy says he's not a hero, but I think he is." Ethan sighed. "Miss Hart, you didn't have to come." "I did," she replied. "You saved my life. Now, let me help you save yours." He didn't understand what she meant until she handed him a file. Inside were papers for a job offer, benefits, and a trust fund for Lily's education. Amelia had done her research. She knew his military record, his struggle, his late wife. She'd seen everything he tried to hide. At first, Ethan refused. "I don't want charity," he said. "It's not charity," Amelia replied softly. It's gratitude, and maybe something more. As weeks turned into months, they grew closer. She would visit the garage often, bringing coffee and conversation. Ethan found himself laughing again, something he hadn't done in years. Amelia, who'd always been surrounded by people but felt alone, found comfort in the warmth of his small world, in Lily's drawings on the walls, the smell of engine grease and home-cooked meals. But when one of the kidnappers escaped custody, danger returned. This time, they came for revenge. They found Ethan's apartment, and Amelia was there with Lily. The moment Ethan realized it, his blood ran cold. He raced home, only to find the door broken open and chaos inside. He fought like a man with everything to lose, and he did. Every strike, every move came from love, not rage. When it was over, the kidnappers were gone, the police arrived, and Lily was safe in Amelia's arms, crying into her shoulder. Amelia looked at Ethan, eyes glistening. "You saved me twice," she whispered. Ethan shook his head. "No. You saved us. You reminded me who I used to be, and who I still can be." Months later, Amelia and Ethan started something new together, not just a company, but a life built on trust and second chances. The once iron-hearted CEO learned what real strength meant, not control, but compassion. And the quiet single dad finally stopped hiding from his past. On Lily's 9th birthday, Amelia stood beside Ethan, watching her blow out the candles. The three of them laughed, the kind of laughter that fills a room and heals old scars. And somewhere deep down, Ethan realized, sometimes, saving someone doesn't just change their life. It saves yours, too.